Okay, I'm gonna just jump straight into this because I don't have a computer to edit all this bullshit. Um, anyway, I've been trying to find the correct settings for Battlefield 2042. What I would do is, what I wanted to do is convert my Apex settings over to Battlefield 2042, and I've looked up 5 or 6 different videos on YouTube to see anybody put that out, and they haven't. Um, So hopefully I do catch a little bit of the people that are looking for that aren't getting explained, that aren't getting that explained to them. So um, I guess we'll go straight into the display. So my field of view, I'd bump that up to 95, and then my third person field of view, 88. The reason I have it 95 is because it's the same on Apex, and basically that like zooms your character out so you get more of a field of view. Okay, that's pretty much the only two I fucked with on the video. Now if we go over here to control, um, I have my own custom control um, mapping. So let's see, if you come over here and then you go over to on foot, these are my controls. It's the same as Apex. I didn't want to, like if I want to go back to Apex, I didn't want to have to like relearn my controls, so I kind of just converted everything. Um, it's really not that bad, to be honest with you, just because I haven't played Battlefield in a very long time. So just switching over from Apex to here with these controls is, I really haven't had any sort of struggle. The only thing that I had a hard time figuring out is when I would get killed. You have this period where you wait like 30 seconds to either be revived, or you can off yourself and then go into your customization, to add whatever you want to your character. Um, on the screen, it gives you a prompt to, I think it's square to request a revive, or R1 to pretty much to speed up the process for you to go to your customization. Um, that I don't know how to fix, but I did find out if you press and hold X, that it makes the time go by faster to get to your customization. Um, okay, so that's controller mapping. So I'll go over here to controls. For if you do have a custom key binding that you favor most, after you go to the controller mapping and you customize all that, you have to come here to the controller, and then you have to click custom on this. This one doesn't matter. I didn't have any sort of effect on me. So then here's my on foot. I know the sensitivity seems pretty high, but for me to jump from Apex to Battlefield without having like any sort of to me it kind of feels like stickiness whenever I'm trying to aim left to right, ADSing and whatnot. So I bumped this up to 80, and then this will be the same as the field of view from the very first part. And then if you go to here, I can't remember if this is default 100 or if default is 0, but mine's at 100, and it seems like if you, I think I adjusted this, maybe not. Let's see, what does it say? Okay, no, maybe it was default 100. And then I bumped this one to 45. Sorry, I was just reading that. And then I think this one is also default. But here, in a lot of the tutorials I was watching, they kept saying turn this one on. I highly disagree, because if you're jumping from Apex to Battlefield back and forth, and you don't want to have to have like some sort of muscle memory, have your muscle memory all fucked up, I would just leave this off. I'm not exactly sure what it does, but I did notice it was messing around with my ADS aiming, so I turned that off and it seemed to fix the problem. And then these are all set on default. You can go through and adjust these to however you like, but I just left those ones alone. Okay, and then I went to controller tuning, and I've spent probably 3.5 hours out of the 3 hours and 45 minutes playing this game. I probably played an actual 10 to 15 minutes, and then the rest of the time I was messing with the settings to figure out how exactly to get my controls as close as I could to Apex. I know not everybody has the same settings as me, which is completely okay, but for me to be able to transition between the two, this was the settings I went with. And I turned the center and the axial dead zone off for the left and the right stick, because that was giving me that stickiness that I was talking about, like when you would have your full input on the right stick, which you could probably leave this one. I didn't really notice a difference between this one, but I did just turn them off. That way everything was the same. I know that they're completely two different sticks, but when I turned my sensitivity all the way up to 80 and dropped these two, everything was much more smooth. And now I think I can fine-tune my sensitivity to where it's just perfect for me, but without any stickiness or any like the threshold between the two. I really wish you could turn this one down all the way to 0, but you can't. It gives you to 25, and from what I understand, at 25% of your stick movement, that's when you get 100% of, for instance, my let's see, how do I explain this the best way possible? So if you look here, my soldier aim sensitivity is 80% out of 100. And then if I go to controller tuning, I will only be able to use, at 25%, I will have that 80% of my ADS, or of my aim sensitivity. But if I have it at 100, I will be able to use at 100% of pushing my stick left or right. I will be able to use 100%. At 100%, I will be able to use the 80% in the aim sensitivity. Hopefully that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain, but that's pretty much it. To be honest, I'm probably wrong about a lot of these, but I've really spent 3.5, 4 hours adjusting my settings to how it will suit me when I transfer from Apex to Battlefield. So I know I probably didn't get most of this correct on explaining what the dead zone is for the axial and center, or the threshold, but from my understanding and from what I've been doing, jumping back and forth between playing and adjusting my settings, this is what has helped me most. Let's see, that's pretty much all I have. I don't really know a better way to explain it. I'm only explaining it to where it makes sense in my brain, and so hopefully this kind of clicks with everybody else. I'm not really like a geek when it comes to controller settings. Like, I don't even know what half of this shit means. All I know is I was adjusting these guys, and eventually I kind of just figured it out. I know it seems pretty simple to do it right away, but I was literally adjusting these one click at a time to like really figure out what's going on, and this is what I came out with. But like I said, if you do what I did, and then with your controller tuning, this pretty much eliminates all the extra shit that you have to do to really fine-tune your aiming. I bet you when you play this game more often, you're gonna learn exactly what you need and how you aim and blah blah blah, and how to like really fine-tune that stuff. But for right now, I'm happy with how these settings turned out. And like I said, if I really need to like dial it down, I can use just my soldier aim sensitivity. So pretty much I eliminated all the fucking controller tuning. so I didn't have to worry about it, and I wasn't having to adjust all the bullshit. And then one other thing, when I am aiming, I think it was in here. Yeah. So where was it at? Okay, so this uniform soldier aiming, I think what it has to do with is it goes off of your controller tuning settings. And if you turn this off, and if you have smaller adjustments, or you don't want to move as fast when you're sniping or looking down the scope or whatever, I would suggest turning this off, and then this will allow you to fine tune differently when you are aiming. Because when I aim, I'm not all over the fucking place like I am when I'm not aiming. Usually when I'm not aiming, it means I'm trying to get the fuck out of the area, but when I'm aiming, I'm usually taking my time and trying to place good shots on people. So hopefully that makes sense. I probably didn't explain that best, but I tried to explain it in a way that made sense to me and that nobody else has explained it. If you want advanced explanation, I would probably suggest to look up different YouTube tutorials on what all this shit means, because I'm not the guy to tell you. But like I said, I was only explaining this to hopefully help those people that are coming from Apex and like the way that Apex feels when they're moving around and all that stuff. Hopefully I could explain that way and make it easier for you to jump right into Battlefield and not have to spend as much time as I did tuning everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Sorry for the rambling and the extra bullshit that I've been talking about, but I hope this helps you guys out, and thank you for watching.